Jeff, we had the Ring of Honor Final Battle pay-per-view this past weekend, which had a match on it that you have declared will be your match of the year, you think.
Yes.
The dog collar match, Briscoes and FTR.
Mm-hmm.
And I acknowledge that it was a great match. One of the better matches I saw last week, but I would not say it was my match of the year. And I will also say that I didn't like the match at all, but I'm just trying to judge it on its merits. And I think it was an excellent match. Probably the third best of the series, in my opinion. But I mean, that's a really, really high bar. And on some years, it would be a match of the year contender, but this was such a great year. And this was a really great week for wrestling. But why don't you tell me why you thought it was the match of the year?
Because it's everything I watch professional wrestling for.
Okay.
You and I think, watch wrestling for two different things.
Yeah.
And for me, it had a specific amount of hate in the match and in the work, which I liked. I do like, look, I was raised on Southern wrestling, so I like blood as a blow off. I like fights. I mean, what I like in wrestling is I like watching burly men or mean men or whatever talk trash and then go in there and fake fight. And that's what this was. This was a fight. I didn't need a lot of wrestling. I didn't need, reversals and things like that. This was just two guys who don't like each other. And I saw your point too. It's like, well, they hugged after the last time. Paul, there are people I respect in wrestling punditry that I will be very respectful for. But if you put us in a match, I'd beat them up. No, or something like that. It's like there's a certain of contempt there, even though you respect them, and I can still get into that story in the ring. But overall, this is everything I wanted in a tag team dog collar match, and I enjoyed the hell of it. I loved it. Don't get me wrong, I loved the first match between these two a whole lot. That was my match of the year going up to this.
Okay.
And number 3 thing is number 5 on my top 5. So I got 3 of these matches in here. Mm-hmm. But this one to me was so great. And both pairings just worked so well together and gave me everything I wanted in a match. I know the blood was a little bit squeamish for you, and I get that.
Squeamish isn't the right word. I thought the referee blading was completely unnecessary, and what happened when that happened was it just kind of alerted to my fact to, okay, what is this match? Because you talked about everything reasons you like all this and the hate, and I didn't get that because the last time I saw these two teams, they hugged in respect, and there was nothing between then and now to make me think that these guys actually do hate each other. So my thinking was they were just out there to try to have the best dog collar match that anybody's ever had. And, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're all going to bleed. We're going to do a suplex into chairs. We're going to be running all over the place with this chain and all this. And it was all great, but I didn't have that heat.
Oh, see, I felt the heat.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't have as much of the first match. Don't get me wrong. Not in any way. In terms of the audience heat, in terms of the work heat, there's a lot more work heat here than in the first match because the first match was moves. This one was kicking, biting, screaming, trying to kill another guy, and that's important to me in a feud such as this.
But why? Why were they trying to kill each other?
Because these Ring of Honor tag team titles are everything to the Briscoes. Because they can't go on AEW TV.
Yeah. Well, apparently they can because I saw them today. Which was one of the things I heard. Oh, we couldn't do this. We couldn't do that. We couldn't do anything to build this matchup because the Briscoes aren't allowed on TV. And we just saw them tonight.
Yeah. We didn't get to hear them speak, but I got to see them.
We didn't hear them speak, but you could have shown highlights. You could have had FTR cut a promo and explain.
The build stunk.
Yeah. So that's part of it for me. But, and then, the blood, I mean, if it was just the 4 guys, I mean, I think 4 guys was a little much. If it was 2 or even 3 of them, it wouldn't have been as much. When the ref bladed, it was just like, okay, this is ridiculous. Is just what I thought.
I did too, and look, watched NXT after this. I liked NXT.
Oh well, that one, that one
That one
ref
was
spot was
goofy. No,
terrible.
I
Yeah,
overall I liked the NXT
yeah.
premium live event too. But and no, and I understand, ref bumps are okay, and I understand that, but like I am tired of Jon Moxley bleeding for no reason.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
really am.
Okay.
And I understand he enjoys it and it adds a little something to him. But at the same time, there has to be a spot there that earns the blood for me. Otherwise, I'm just like, oh, he just wanted to bleed to show
Okay.
how tough he was.
Okay. And this is where, like we have talked about this with a few people, and people said maybe like I was a hypocrite because I love that Moxley match so much. And the reason being is I think the blood in that match, whether or not it was warranted, okay, we'll put that aside. I thought it added to the match because Moxley's loss of blood weakened him. And so he wasn't wrestling as strong as the match went on, which allowed you to believe that Takeshita could actually pull off this upset. And a lot of the moves that he was hitting didn't have the same impact because Moxley was weakened from the loss of blood. And so to me, it added, whereas in the FTR Briscoes, the loss of blood didn't hurt them at all. Like they were going full bore the whole time.
Hold on. No. I don't think they were because of the damage that they're doing. No, you and I will disagree on that a little bit. I mean, but let's put it this way. Because this is a complaint I have about that 6-person match that started this show, was that there was absolutely no damage being done by any of these moves. They were just going full bore the entire time. But no, I'll take that. But you know that story's a great one to tell if you haven't had Moxley bleeding every other week when he's in a match.
Well, and a lot of times it does, he does take a longer time to beat some of these people than you think he should. Yeah. And that's how he gets away with doing that. So, but I just thought like that Moxley Takeshita match on Rampage, I made the comment, like, I think I don't know how long it was. I want to say maybe like 15 minutes, maybe a little less than that.
I'll give you an easier explanation.
Okay.
As Dave says, Uncle Dave, we all like the wrestling of our youth. And that Briscoes match could have been on Starrcade 84 or 85. And I would have loved it.
And you know what? I may have loved it more then than I do now. And maybe that's part of the issue. But I thought that Moxley Takeshita match, for the time they had, I'm not sure that it was possible to have a better match. I can't get over how much I love that match.
Did you buy Takeshita winning at any time?
I thought he might. I mean, the way it was going and not knowing the results going in, I thought, hey, you know what? Maybe they're going to put this guy over. I kind of figured they wouldn't, but I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for them to do that. And at some point they're gonna. And I would say, okay. And one of the comments I made about this ROH pay-per-view was, okay, you had that awesome FTR Briscoes match.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the card was good.
Yeah.
Some matches were very good. Nothing was even close to excellent, in my opinion.
I agree.
I thought the second best match on the card was the main event of the prelims, the Kingdom and Top Flight.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, and the main event was about the same level.
I thought the women's match over-delivered.
Which one? The title match? Yeah, that was good. The women's match on the pre-show was the worst match on the show. Willow and Trish Adora.
I admittedly did not have time to watch the pre-show.
That's fair. Yeah. So I mean, if you want to go back and see a really good tag match, watch that Top Flight Kingdom match. Really, really good. And yeah, so I mean, but my point is that they were charging $40 for that show.
Yeah.
And if you want to say, okay, that's worth $40, okay, fine. Then you know what? A regular AEW pay-per-view is probably worth like $100. Because I mean, you're getting a lot more for your value for the $50 you spend on an AEW pay-per-view than for the $40 you spend on Ring of Honor. And that
I do not consider that a $40 pay-per-view.
And then that leads you into Honor Club, which they announced after the show, which is going to be their subscription service. And I kind of figured about a week before the announcement that this is where they were going. But I thought that in addition to the weekly shows, you were also going to get the pay-per-views for your $10 a month. So 4 times a year, you were going to get a pay-per-view included 3 or 4 times a year, along with your $10 a month for the weekly TV. Turns out you're paying $10 at this point for the weekly TV and the archives. Now they've promised something maybe is going to come with New Japan. My assumption would be maybe New Japan Strong included. I doubt if it would be the whole New Japan World. If it was the whole New Japan World, if they were combining those, yeah, I'll buy it for sure. Like no question. That to me is value. Even if I was getting the Strong content, like if they're putting up the NGPW Strong events that they do in the States and the weekly
Yeah.
shows, along with Ring of Honor, I think that's probably worth it for me. But just Ring of Honor, no way.
No,
Not with this lineup
a
that they're going to have.
combination New Japan World Ring of Honor Club thing that would be enticing even to me, possibly.
Yeah, because you get to see the Tokyo Dome, you get to see the G1s, New Japan Cup, all their big tournaments, and
Yeah.
maybe some Stardom.
Yeah,